Too bad you don't have name tags on, because I like to call on people during the presentation and get you engaged. I don't want you to feel like you're at work, so we'll go with it how it is. But they don't call it a workshop for nothing, right? Sometimes we got to do some work, right? So I'll start by introducing myself. I know when we get into the credentials and stuff, that gets boring, but you may also want to know who I am and how do I have the authority to share this information with you. So I'll just start with these few bullets that I have here. Again, I'm Dr. Jatun Dorsey. I have over a decade of experience in corporate America. I've done things from project management to audit to people management to training. So I've done quite a bit of things in financial services industry. I also am an Amazon best-selling author. I co-authored a book with 27 other ladies called The Fabulous New Life. So if you'd like to hear more about that, feel free to ask me afterwards. I'm also a life and business coach. I'm a speaker, obviously, and a founder of the Commentor Network. So, any questions about that before I jump into the real fun stuff about me? Nothing? Okay. So, how many of you are the firstborn or an only child? Only two? Okay. Well, I don't know, you guys will be able to relate to me in this story that I'm going to share with you, and others may find some type of relation as well. But I am an only child and the oldest grandchild on both sides of the family. I know I look like I'm 12, but you'll never believe how old I am. But however, what comes with that is the pressures of life and the pressures of everyone else's opinions of you and what they expect you to accomplish in life. So as you grow into the person that you are as an adult, there are so many different things that these people, whether it be your parents, your grandparents, or even your siblings, look up to you to set the example for. So as a child growing up, I had those pressures, and as a child I didn't realize it as that. I just thought, well, they did have my best interests at heart, but I wanted to do things to make them happy. So it wasn't always about what is it that Jatun wants to do, what does she want to accomplish, but they just wanted me to do better than they did. So some of the things as I grew up weren't necessarily things that I would have chosen for myself, but I did them anyway just to make them happy, right? But the older I got, I realized how this wasn't really aligning with the goals and aspirations that I had for myself. So I then had to take a detour. But in that detour, there were a lot of bumps and bruises, but that's what made me who I am today, right? So I wanted to share that quick story with you just so that you'll know or understand how it is and how you can become more ambitious about your goals and not be so content with doing what it is that somebody else expects of you. So even if you aren't the only child or the oldest child, that still relates, because you could be a mom, you could be a wife, and you're doing all these things for everyone else, but you tend to neglect yourself and the things that you want to do to reach your goals, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some goal setting, some goal getting, and most importantly, getting out of your own way. Y'all ready to talk about that? Yeah. So some of you pointed out this African proverb that I listed here. When there is no enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. What does that mean to you ladies? Just to read that, what does that mean to you?
Sometimes we're our own worst enemy.
Exactly. Anybody else? Don't turn your head and look at that screen. Those are the ones I call on when you try not to look at me. She avoiding that eye contact. No, but yes, you're absolutely right. Whenever we are our own worst critics, everything else on the outside means nothing, because we beat ourselves up before anybody else can. And just know that the world is already going to do that. So why would you want to add onto what the world is already going to make hard for you, right? So we're going to jump into the next slide. MIS. How many of you have felt, and raise your hand if it resonates, mistaken, misaligned? I said raise your hand. Y'all got to be active and talk to me, show me some body language or something.
I was waiting when you say all of the above.
Okay, I like that. Okay. That's one of those points. I'll receive that. So mistaken, misaligned, misunderstood, mistreated, mispositioned, or just plain missed. right? And we know that the acronym, or rather the prefix miss, means to be wronged, to negate. So it brings about that negative aspect of a word, right? So what I wanted to do is reframe how the prefix miss is looked at. And so I converted it for myself into an acronym. So the next slide, please. Star says she likes acronyms. I love them too. Easier to remember, right? Yeah. So you guys are going to leave here with something that you can easily remember and therefore easily apply, right? So what is MIS? For me, these are things that you need to do to redefine how you feel about being mispositioned, misaligned, misunderstood, and just plain missed, right? The first thing is you want to conduct some mental decluttering, right? You also need to ignite your passion, and then you have to show up in the world as the best you. Hi, welcome. So, for many of my clients that come to me, the issues that they're facing, the challenges that they have, fall into one of these three categories. Mostly the mental declutter. And this closely aligns with goals and achieving your goals. Setting goals first, right? So because of that, and for the sake of time, we're just going to focus on the mental declutter piece. I don't want to bombard you guys with too much information. I want you to leave with something that you can easily digest and apply quickly to life, right? So we're going to do this. How would you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Exactly. So we're going to take this one bite today with a lot of drinks in between and, you know, all that good stuff. Okay, so any questions about the MIS? Okay, so we're going to go more into depth with the mental decluttering. What does that mean for you?
Sometimes I eat too much. That's what I take it. Yeah, stress yourself, maybe.
Close. Not only am I going to take a sip of this, but I'm going to use this as a demo. Not considering these markings here. How much do you think this bottle weighs? Weight.
The bottle.
Not the contents, but just
The bottle. No, it's light. I think it's light.
what's light? Just give me some number.
2 ounces.
Okay.
3 ounces. Maybe 4.
Okay. So, what do you think I'm going to ask? I like to ask that first before I get into it, because I'm using this bottle of water.
Is it the same weight? No. How much weight would it be?
I love y'all.
I was about to go there.
I love y'all. Most people assume that I'm going to ask, is this half empty or half full? I love y'all. I'm with the right people today. So, here's the thing. Regardless of how much this weighs, right now, if I hold it for a second, it probably won't bother me much, right? If I hold it for 30 minutes, I might start to get a little like, oh, okay, I'm ready to put this down somewhere, right? After an hour, my arm might be a little paralyzed. I might be a little sore. I don't know. I might be exaggerating, but it's going to be more. She said no. It's going to be more than I can bear any longer, right? So I might just decide to drop it or just give up on it, right? So I use that analogy because that's what happens with us mentally. We carry so many things in our mind and expect that our minds are built to do such a thing, and that's just store and remember everything. Then we find ourselves overwhelmed, stressed out, depressed, because we're holding everything in our minds and not documenting it, not putting it on paper, putting it in a trusted system, which we're going to get into all of that in a few more slides later. So I wanted to use that demonstration to show you how important it is to get things off of your mind. Because if you continue to do that, just know first off that your mind is not a tool that is really meant for you to memorize or remember everything. It is actually conditioned to make you forget to ensure that you remain sane. So you should be thankful that you forget things, but you should also be aware of the fact that you do. For me, I forget everything. That's why I write everything down. My calendar goes everywhere I go. Either it's got to be in my phone with an alert, or it's got to be on in my calendar. So I know that about myself. So I know that I need to get it off my mind and onto paper in order to hold myself accountable, right? And you may be asking, how does this relate to goals and goal setting and goal getting? But I know y'all are not asking that because y'all own it. I see it. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So we're going to talk about first getting out of your own way. Then we're going to go into achieving goals, which includes setting goals and what? Achieving them. We don't want to just set them and just let them sit.
Right.
So, me being a PhD, I just love numbers. Numbers don't lie. So I wanted to start off with some statistics for you guys, right? And know that these do not correlate. So they're just look at them each separately, but as a portion of 100% pie, right? So 10% of people are effective in setting goals. That means that they're successfully setting their goals, right? 10% have written goals. 10% of 100%. Okay? 5% actually read their goals. So they may get to the point of setting them. They may even do another step and write them. But then they never read them. So they leave them. 20% actually even set goals. That means they just flying off the seat of their pants with life, hoping that things will just fall into place, right? And then we have 30% who actually achieve their goals. None of these are even 50%. So what I'm hoping today is that we leave with you guys adding a percentage to this, because we want you to be a part of these, although minimal, we want you to be a part of these percentages that are doing those things that are getting them towards their goals to achieve their goals, okay? So you want to ask yourself, what is it that you're doing today that is going to get you closer to your goals for tomorrow? What I like to envision or think about in this instance is whatever it is that you've done all the way up until today is what got you here today. So if you're not where you want to be today, that means you need to reassess. What is it that I need to do differently today to achieve the goals that I want to accomplish for tomorrow? Okay? Next slide, please. G-O-O-Y-O-Y. I kind of like how that was flowing. Like we need to start a rap here. Please do yourself a favor and get out of your own way. Ask yourself, what is it that you're doing to block your own blessings? What is it that you're doing to keep yourself from moving past what it is that you're stuck in? Whether it be your family, I don't know. Maybe they don't believe in your dreams and goals, so you feel like, okay, they're right. You want to believe what they believe, even though you know you're worthy and you're capable. So here are 3 things. Actually, I'm going to start with another demonstration. I like to do this because it paints pictures and it helps you remember even more. At least it does for me. So, how many of you can dance?
At least we, I think I
Not enough to be able to dance.
Okay, that counts. And how many of you can sing?
well,
I love me some karaoke. I'm just saying if that counts. And how many of you can run?
that's for sure.
Okay. So there was an experiment done with a group of kindergartners across the world. They were asked those same 3 questions. And their reaction was, yes, every time there was a question asked. No question, no thought, yes. I can do it. I can do it. Yes. You want me to do it now? Mm-hmm. This was their reaction, right? It wasn't, well, maybe, you know, yeah. It wasn't, well, you know, I used to be able to, but then so-and-so happened, and then, you know, well, I don't know. Mm-hmm. They were stern in their response and confident in knowing that, yes, I can do it, right? Mm-hmm. So something happened. I see that face. Life happens, right? Yeah. And so things that we experience in life convince us otherwise. Mm-hmm. Makes us doubt ourselves. Mm-hmm. And this is what's causing us to get in our own way. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, those kindergartners, let's go back to that, because we never questioned the thought of us being able to do one thing or another, right? Mm-hmm. And nor did I ask you if you could dance like Usher or sing like Beyonce or run like Jackie Joyner Kersey. I just asked if you could do it. Right. But we start, well, I don't know. I can, what you say, I can do a 2-step. That's dancing. So stop doubting yourselves and get out of your own way. Even sometimes we say we can't do something before we even try it. And that's how we get into our own way, on our own way. So here are 3 things that I would suggest for you to consider in order to first get out of your own way, because in order for you to set your goals and achieve your goals, you've got to get out of your way first. Determine your way. That means get clear about what it is that you want and even why you want it. So clarity is king. Then you want to seek guidance. That means you may need a mentor. You may need a coach, right? So that may mean you need to do some research and find out who it is that's doing what it is that you want to do already, or that can get you to that position. And then the last thing, get accountability. That means find you a success partner. This doesn't mean Miss Judy next door, just because she's next door. She may not understand your goals. She may not even have goals of her own. So be clear about who it is that you're considering your accountability partner. Because you want to not only have them hold you accountable, but likewise you want to help them achieve their goals as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, now let's get into goal setting. But we want to talk about what you don't want to do first. This is what you want to steer clear of. There are 4 things that I've outlined here. And we all know that it's never limited to this list, right? But this is where we can get you started. First thing is, don't fall victim to analysis paralysis. So, first you got out of your own way. You got clear. You got help. But now you're just overthinking it. So you stay right here because I don't know. Well, maybe I should go this way. But if I go that way, this will happen. If I go that way, this may happen. But you never go a way to find out if it's good or not. Sometimes taking that action is exactly what it is that you need to do in order to know what it is that you need to do. 2, never wait for the perfect moment to start. When is the perfect moment to start? Exactly. There's never a perfect moment. I've heard people say, well, I'm going to wait for little Johnny to graduate. Then little Johnny graduates and, oh, now I got to pay his student loans. So I'm going to wait on that. Oh, and then after that, now I got to remodel this patio. I don't know. So it's always something. As we said earlier, life happens. So it's always going to be something. So we don't want to wait for the perfect moment to start. 3, we said this earlier, don't set goals to satisfy someone else. Get clear about what it is that you want to accomplish and not what someone else thinks that you should accomplish, or more so, not what someone else is doing. Just because it looks pretty doesn't mean it's for you and doesn't mean it's easy. Okay, the 4th one is don't compare your goals to someone else's. Again, that goes into the fact that some people's ambitions, desires, skill set, everything is just different. Now, I will say, we're going to talk about this a little later too, there is really nothing new under the sun. So it's all about you putting your thumbprint on whatever it is. I'm not saying go steal nobody's stuff. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying don't get discouraged because you see that you want to be a coach or a speaker. You think 1 million people are doing it. Okay. But you speak differently. You present differently. You show up differently. So don't let that discourage you. Again, get out of your own way. Now, this last quote at the bottom, I found this very interesting, which we could have spoken about this a little earlier. But did you realize that you have over 1,500 thoughts per minute in your mind? So when we talk about decluttering your mind, just imagine you trying to remember all of the many things that you have to remember in life, on top of these other 1,500 thoughts that you have per minute. You are stressing yourself out. You are causing the stress on yourself. We get enough of that from work and everywhere else, right? So let's minimize our own stress that we inflict on ourselves. Okay, next slide. So we talked about the don'ts. I know y'all want to hear about the do's, right? So here are some key steps leading to effective goal setting. We talked about this. Get clear on your why. Get clear on your why and your what. Some people get stuck on determining how. Most of the time, being clear about the how is not the important thing initially, because the how will come. When you get clear about your why, which could be, your family. It could be you want to leave a legacy. Whatever your why is, Be clear about it, because that's that very thing that when you are demotivated and you're lacking, you're not encouraged, you're in bed, you don't want to get up, that's that very thing that's going to push you to do whatever it is that you need to do that day to make a step towards your goal. You want to verbalize your goals. And again, share this with your trusted success partner, because when we put things out into the universe, it aligns. Not only that, you begin to feel responsible, because now you told somebody you want to do this.
Right.
And if that somebody is somebody that really cares about you and wants the best for you, they're going to hold you accountable, right? So that's another reason why we need to verbalize our goals. And again, I can't say this too much or too often. Get those goals off your mind and onto paper. But number 4 is even more important. Identify a sacred system. What I call a sacred system could be a couple of things. First of all, it's a ritual, which means something that you do daily that gets you on the mindset and on track and in the mindset toward your goals. So that could be meditation, that could be prayer, that could be whatever it is that you feel like reciting I ams. It could be any of those things that you require yourself to do daily to keep your mind on track towards your goals. This sacred system is also, it could be as simple as this tablet you're writing in. What's your name again?
Shaniqua.
Shaniqua. That was so pretty how you announced your name. But even this little tablet, and I think you have a quote or a scripture on the front. Yes. So that's a sacred system. That could be her binder that she dedicates solely to her goals. And anytime she references this book or writes anything in that book, that means that it's a goal. It's important. It's something that she wants to focus on. So that's yet another sacred system that you can implement to get yourself on track and continually exposing yourself to your goals. Then 5, you want to connect with someone who's already done it. We already talked about that, right? Finding a coach, a mentor, or even just someone that has already done it. Maybe they don't hold the title of mentor or coach, but they've done this before. But what we like to do is go at it alone. Reinvent the wheel. We like to go behind closed doors, all by our lonesome, and find it out, figure it out. How much time do we waste doing that? How much stress do we cause doing that? And we never get time back. So we want to take advantage of the time we have, right? So find someone that has already done it, connect with that person, see what it is that you can offer them as well. So don't always be looking for somebody you can take from or somebody that can help you. How can we mutually help each other in this, right? Okay, we can go to the next slide. So we talked about the goal setting. Are we clear about goal setting? We're going to get into goal getting now. No question. Okay. And I'm sure a lot of this stuff is, you know, sometimes we get to listen to things that we already really knew because we're smart women, right? But sometimes we need reminders, we need encouragement and confirmation. So hopefully we are leaving today with just that, so that you guys can leave here with a refreshed mind about goal setting and goal getting. And you look forward to implementing your goals, right?
Right. Yes.
So goal getting, once the goals are set, it is time to get. So we have to move beyond getting clear, knowing our why, writing our goals down. Now we got to put some action into it. We got to get moving. Because who's going to do it for us? Nobody, not a one. So we have to act now. In other words, there's no perfect moment. We said that already. So now is the time. We never know when our time is ending. So we want to take advantage of the time that we do have, so that we leave this earth empty. Okay, you want to also keep your eye on the goal. That means you can use this sacred system, the book that you wrote all your goals into. That's something that you can constantly refer back to, so you can remind yourself. People do vision boards. My vision board is posted in my office, so every day, all day when I'm sitting at my desk, that's what I see, right? You can even take a picture of your vision or your goal, your vision board or your goals. Use it as your screensaver on your cell phone. So every time, I know y'all go to get in that cell phone a million times a day. So when you do that, it's automatically there. It's a constant reminder so that you don't get off track. And evaluate your progress. That's where a lot of people fail. They set the goals. They may even act on the goals, but they're not really evaluating because they never had a full plan. So if you don't know that you wanted to accomplish one piece of your goal within a month, when that month comes and gone, you just lost track of your entire goal. Because I don't feel like I'm even progressing. You know why? Because you're not monitoring the milestones towards your goal. Okay. Oh. Any questions while we're going into the don'ts? So we talked about the do's and don'ts of getting. Now let's talk about the don'ts of, we talked about the do's and don'ts of setting. Now we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of getting. We don't want to engage with Debbie Downers and negative Nancys. And I hate to say it, but sometimes that's your own, not even family, it's yourself. That negative self-chatter or head trash could be that very Debbie Downer that I'm talking about. So let's make sure that we get out of our own ways again. I'm going to keep saying that. Make sure that you are not the culprit that's holding you back from achieving your own goals. Some things that you want to avoid would be committing your goals to memory. We said this already. And we use this analogy, right? We don't want to be that arm that goes stale and just gives up because it's just we've been holding on to something for far too long. Procrastination. Who's procrastinating in here? Y'all not being honest with me.
No, I said I used to be. Now I'm a lot.
You're a lot better. So you're progressing. That's good. Okay. Okay. So what can we do to get you past procrastination?
Well, first of all, what is procrastination? Like stalling?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I don't know. You know what? Basically, I am a procrastinator. I don't really think I am. I'm that person that likes, well, if you just nag me enough about something, I procrastinate purposely because I just don't want you to run.
Okay, so what about your own goals, though? What about what it is that you want to achieve?
I usually don't let nothing stop me, actually.
So then you're not a procrastinator?
I wouldn't think so.
So you're working on all your goals right now?
Pretty much.
Okay, we're going to trust that you are.
I really, really, actually I am.
That's good.
I've come a long way.
Awesome. Okay. So here's another thing that, especially as women, what we do. Yes, ma'am.
No, I was going to check numbers.
You already. She's like, you don't even have to read it. Starting too many projects at once.
Yeah.
Especially us as women, we fall guilty of this all the time. So you want to go ahead and clean out the pantry. I'm going to start this today. I didn't finish it, but you know what? I need to go ahead and rearrange my room in the office too. Okay, so by Friday, you have about you got a project per day started. Nothing finished, but everything is in motion, in progress. And then what? Saturday comes, you stressed out because all this stuff. I got all these cereal boxes and all this stuff around my kitchen. My bedroom is in shambles. I can't even sleep in the bed. So now you're overwhelmed and stressed because what did you do? You started too many projects at once. Now I don't know what it is about us being wired that way, but the benefit of starting one project and completing it, carrying it out to the end is one that you feel accomplished. You're like, oh gosh, I got something done. Now I can move on to the next thing. Instead of having multiple things going on at once and everything feels like it's in shambles and you're overwhelmed. So you need to minimize your focus. Not only will you become more accomplished, but you'll feel you'll feel less overwhelmed, let's say that, and less stressed, right?
I really appreciate your analogy because that's what I had to use to do that because I would do that. I would say, okay, I'm going to do this in the kitchen. Okay, let me throw a little.
Right.
And so I had to learn, okay, I'm going to do the kitchen today. Nothing else gets done but the kitchen today.
Absolutely.
And that's when I clean up the cabinets. Okay. But that's mentally, I understand what you're saying because that's mentally how I had to learn to do
Right.
it.
So how did you feel? What felt different about that new approach?
I really got something done.
Yes.
You know, I said, okay, it's only the kitchen today, and that is it.
That's absolutely it.
Cabinets, clean out everything, had everything organized. I said, okay, I'll work on something else tomorrow. Today it's only the kitchen.
That is right. So
and
that.
So But that was the way I had to learn to stop procrastinating and say, okay, I'll get back to this. Like, no.
And then when you do that, you also have to consider the best times, your peak times, to be productive. Because sometimes we are tired when we leave work, we make it home, and we feel like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start this. But you tired as all get out. You already burned out. So then the kid, by that time, husband home, kids home, whatever else happens in your life and in your home. So then you get distracted and pulled away. So it's good to know your productive hours of the day as well. So it's a lot of things to consider, not only that, but also because we are women, we're also good at multitasking certain things. So you have to be clear about what it is that you're good at multitasking, right? So maybe you can throw a load of clothes in the dryer while you go cook breakfast. You know, something like that, yes. But we have to be clear about exactly what it is our capabilities are and our bandwidth is, right? Okay, negative self-chatter. I don't think I have to talk about this one much because we kind of beat this one already, right? Get out of your own heads, period. Damaging input. I'd love to hear what you guys think that is.
Outsiders.
Okay.
Because I was dealing with that before I even got here. That's why I played.
But you made it. We're glad you made it.
Just to add on to outsiders, you already have a plan set, and then that outsider says, you sure you want to do that? It could be something as simple as that. Nothing that's really tremendous. Just, you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
Now you're going back to, and I like the way that stair steps, back to the negative self-chatter.
Right, you start doubting yourself.
It just keeps going back. Then you go back to that last project. Well, maybe that didn't work. So let me start on this project that I did. So, I like that.
Or maybe that what they said is right, which is why I didn't finish those other projects.
Procrastinating. I like that.
Exactly. So we have to make sure that we are protective of our eyes, our ears. That's even television. What did we talk about? You didn't want to say that R word earlier, but we know what you meant.
There's another, but I did not want to say it, but we are so
right.
All we're doing is filling our heads, our eyes, our hearts. We start believing.
Yes.
I had to tell my young kids, they do lights, camera, action. They're done. You can't go back and change those actions and reactions like they do on TV.
Exactly. And though they say it's reality, it really isn't. So then this final point, you want to avoid creating vague goals. Am I okay on my time? Okay, perfect. So vague goals. Let me think of an example. This is pretty easy, but I want to get my bachelor's degree. And where? And how much is this going to cost me? And how am I going to pay for this? And when am I going to start? Those are the details that we need to consider when we're setting goals, because when we're vague, it'll never get done. It'll never get done. Okay, next slide. Now we talked about the don'ts. Let's go right into the what? The do's. And I don't mean fees. So 5 tips for you to win at goal getting. Regularly refer back to your list of goals. Keep them in a place that you will always see it. I don't care if that's your refrigerator, your dashboard, in the car, whatever it is that you frequently visit. That's where you need to post these goals of yours, because that's holding yourself accountable. That's putting it on your mind consistently, right? Document your milestone achievements. In order to document your milestone achievements, you have to know what they are. So you have to, in your goal setting, have that plan outlined, your timeline, what's going to happen in each quarter or month or whatever it is. Get as detailed as you can get so that it's clear to you. And every day you're doing something, one step, even if it's as minute as a pinky toe step, it counts because you're moving, right? Then you want to make the necessary sacrifices. Some people want to set goals, they want to start the goals, but as soon as something is inconvenient for them, I don't think this is for me. What did I get myself into? She didn't look like she had to do that when she did it. We have all these questions that go about causing us to question again, right? So we want to make sure that we make those sacrifices. Be clear about what it is that you might have to let go. So if you want to start a business, like for me, I probably stay up most nights until nearly 3 o'clock in the morning. That's how passionate I am about my job or my business, right? That's a sacrifice that I make, although that's a sacrifice that I enjoy because when I'm doing it, I'm in a completely different zone, right? You may have to, if you're a parallelpreneur like many of us are, right? That means you work a job and you have a business. Perhaps that means your lunch hour doesn't mean that you get to go hang out with your buddies at Applebee's. Right. That might mean bringing your personal laptop, stopping at Starbucks.
Get some more work done.
What you say? So sometimes we have to consider those sacrifices, know exactly what it is that it may take for us to let go of or even incorporate now in our lives that we before may not have been so comfortable with, right? And then balance, planning, and action. When I was younger, I was learning how to ride a bike, right? My uncle was teaching me this, and he was so hard on me. I think he thought I was a boy. I don't know. We still haven't connected on that. He wanted me to just be this tomboy. Well, I had trouble balancing the bike, and he would pretty much just call me a punk because I couldn't get it right. He was the one that taught me how to swim, which I still can't do, by the way, so he really didn't teach me. How to skate, all this good stuff. But those 3 activities require a lot of balance, right? So what we have to do is think of it as those activities. When your goal is in the center of your step, what is it that you need to do to make sure that you don't topple over too much to the right or to the left, right? What are we going to do to balance that? And what we have to do is make sure that we spend just enough time in planning and just enough time in action. But some of us get stuck in planning. That's that analysis paralysis stage. We forget that we have to make some steps. So planning is good, but know the balance between the 2 phases. And then the part I really love is celebrating your achievements. That's another thing we neglect. We know that we got to set the goals. We know that we got to get the goals. We know that we have to do this. As my father-in-law would say, pick them up and put them down. We know we got to move to do it. But when we move, we say, oh, gosh, I only did so-and-so. Or look how much farther I have to go. We never say, look how much I did. I don't care if it was a minor step. It's a major step for you because you did it. It's towards your goals. You're moving. And to be consistently in action speaks volumes. So small steps consistently get you quicker to your goal. And sometimes you have to fail and fail fast, but it's okay. You learn from those lessons. We all do it. Yes, ma'am.
Regarding the celebrate achievements, I just wanted to share when I started school to get my MBA. So I celebrated myself after each class was over. As soon as I took that final exam, I'm calling my friends, where we going? We going out to
yes. Absolutely.
And I felt good because I'm like, okay, 11 more to go.
Right. So now you're refreshed and you're able to come, to the next step.
Once you feel accomplished and you've celebrated, you don't care how much more you have to go, but it was just that baby step, 1 class down.
Absolutely.
11 more.
That's it.
Okay, now 10 more.
Exactly. You're chopping them down, right?
Right.
Yes.
So something that I do, which you guys could incorporate, implement if you like, it's free. I have a jar that I decorated. I'm not that much of a decorator, but it's cute enough, right? Got some little stickers or whatever and wrote my name on it. And I actually, I'm sharing it with my husband. So if you have a husband or you got kids, you can share this with them as well. So what we do is, anytime that we accomplish something, let me backtrack. We have what we call family meetings, just the 2 of us, because I don't have kids yet. But we have goals for the year. And each month at the end of the year, we meet to discuss those goals. So we have goals as a couple, we have our individual goals, but we meet consistently to refer back and see where we are. But throughout that time, each goal that we achieve, we write it on a piece of paper, fold it up, and put it in this bucket. So that at the end of the year, when people are setting resolutions that they never achieve, we're looking back on what we accomplished for this whole year and saying, wow, because you know, you get to the new year, you forget about all the greatness. Now you're thinking about, oh, I need to lose weight. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. You're never gracious or happy about those things that you've already accomplished because we forget them. So if that's something that interests you, I encourage you to implement that, because it's such a great tool to remind us and keep us on track exactly of, you know, the celebratory moments, so that together, all in one collective moment, we can recall all the greatness for the year. Okay, next slide. We're almost done. Don't want y'all to fall asleep on me. That's when y'all supposed to say, we're not. Okay, so we are at the very end, so I wanted you guys to have my contact information if you wanted to remain connected with me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Straight Flexing, and Periscope.
Pronounce your name.
Jatun, like a baton, with the Jatun, with the J. Website there, email, I'll respond to you directly on email, so feel free to do that. So take a snapshot if you like, or get with me afterwards. There is one more slide. So this is the last slide. I wanted to give you guys something free. I have an ebook that shares 5 life-changing habits that you can incorporate in your lives that will help you stay on track with your goals, get in motion with your goals. So if you text Goal Getter to 31996, I will have your information and I can send that over to you. And you will also then be added to my list to get my newsletters as well. So, okay, well, thank you guys for your time. I'll be here, like I said, if you have any questions. Thank you.